No. We can't multiply two imaginary numbers to get a real number? What about I times I? That makes a real number, right? Good. So when this happens, we usually multiply a complex number by its complex conjugate. And for complex numbers, the complex conjugate is just changing the middle sign. So if it's a plus bi, its complex conjugate, that's hard to say sometimes, it's just changing the plus to a minus sign, that's all. So for example, the complex conjugate of 3 plus 2i is 3 minus 2i. What would be the complex conjugate of 6 minus i? Good. Just changing the middle sign. Now, what we're going to do is multiply these two complex numbers together, and we're going to come up with a real number. So, these are two what? Two binomials. That's what I was looking for. Sorry, you can't read my mind. But two binomials, so we have to use the what method? Full method. So, I'm learning names, so I'm going to start calling them. Some people try not to use popsicle sticks. I know your name. Alright, Miles. You're good. So what are my two first terms?
Okay. Can I just go ahead and do it?
Yeah, just tell me my two first terms and then what it would be if I multiplied them.
3 and the other 3.
And that makes?
No.
That's it. That's all I want you to do. Katie, what are my outer terms? Yes, 3 and negative 2i. And that makes what now? Very good. Logan, what are my inside terms and what are they multiplied together?
2i and 3
Very good. And Amber, right? What are my last terms?
The 2i and negative 2i.
And that makes?
And negative 4i squared.
Very good. Questions about that part? Okay. So, Abigail, tell me what these would be if I combined them.
That would be just that they cancel out.
Yes. Okay. And then, Jalen, what is I squared? The same thing as? Who said that? What is I squared? We can replace this with what?
Negative 1.
Yes.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
Negative 1. And so from here, this negative 4 and negative 1 makes what? Positive 4. So my final answer? 13, right? So we took two complex numbers, multiplied it by its complex conjugate, and got a positive real number, 13. That's it. Try B on your own. How what? Did I do something?
Yeah, it's only like B.
Yeah. That means y'all didn't write it in. Telling on yourself, Solomon. Go ahead and try that one on your own. And y'all, I know notes aren't the funnest thing, but I promise you when we do this checkpoint in a minute, you're going to need these notes. So make sure that when I write something, you write something. Because you get to use your notes on your checkpoint. In the middle? Like your outer inner terms? This is a negative 1 and a 1 in front. So negative 1 times 1. So that's, we'll say negative 1 and then I squared. Right? Negative 1 and I squared. Now, does that make sense? Yeah. What is I minus I? everybody together? The answer
No,
is.
let me, no, you take mine. You take mine.
Hold on. 37. We're going to go over it. Don't erase it. It might be right. Alright. So, Kaya? Okay. What's my first terms multiplied together? Which is? Good. Y'all don't have to tell me what the terms are. Just tell me what they are multiplied together. Alright, Brandon, what is going to be for my outside terms? Good. Cade, my inside terms?
Negative 6i.
Good. Kelsey, my last terms?
Negative I squared.
Good. Alright, let's stop there. Questions? Okay, what happens to my middle terms? This is 36 minus what?
Negative 1.
-1. Good. We can replace I squared with -1. And that would give me 36 plus 1, which is cool. Do you have that, Taylor?
No, no, ma'am.
Questions? Alright, let's move on then. Alright, it says recall from 0.3. I didn't go over that with y'all, so you can mark that out. We can't leave radicals in the denominator. We know that from like algebra. So, for example, we couldn't have 1 over square root of 2 because we have a radical in the denominator. So how would we get rid of this in algebra? Multiply by square root of 2. Good. Because on bottom, what's square root of 2 times square root of 2? 2. And on top, you would have square root of 2. Good. Does everybody remember that? Okay. So, because what is I, the number, or excuse me, what is the letter I? Square root of -1. I squared is -1. We also can't have I in the denominator because it's the same thing as a square root, same thing as a radical. So anytime we see an I in the bottom, we're going to have to multiply the whole equation just like we did this one to get rid of it in the denominator. And to do that, we multiply the fraction by the denominator's complex conjugate. So just like we've been working on with the folding stuff. So like in part A, it has 2 minus 5i. We can't have that. So what is 2 minus 5i's complex conjugate? 2 plus 5i. Good. So we need to multiply the top and bottom by 2 plus 5i. Now, notice in these two up here, and can I move the paper up so everybody doesn't copy that? Notice in these two that the middle terms always cancel out. So, do we really need to do first, outer, inner, last when we're multiplying something by its complex conjugate? No. We could really just multiply our first terms and our last terms because we know the middle is going to cancel out. But that's only when you're multiplying something by its what? Complex conjugate. So on the bottom right here, all we need to multiply together is 2 and 2, which makes what? 4. And then our last terms. So -5 times 5? -25 I squared. Is everybody cool with that? Can we do that for the top? No, because these aren't complex conjugates. So, Abigail, what's my first terms going to be multiplied together?
14.
Very good. Darian, what's my outer terms multiplied together? 35 what? Good. Colby, what's my inner terms?
Plus 8i.
Good. Ransom, what's my last terms? Very good. Now let's just clean it up. So Miles, on top, what are my like terms?
35i.
Alright, that's going to make what?
43i.
Okay. And this is the same thing as 14 what? 35 plus 8. So I'm going to rewrite this part. This would be 14, and we can replace the I squared with negative 1. So what is 14 minus 20? Okay, so I'm going to write that out front. Do y'all remember why I want to write this first? It's the real part. Good. Now on bottom, so we've done this top part, we have 4 minus 25 times negative 1. So I'm going to leave the top the same. But on bottom, the 25 will turn to positive, correct? So we'll have what on bottom? 29. Very good. And last thing, can we simplify this?
No.
All right, how could we simplify it if it were possible? Say that again.
Did you multiply by the denominator?
You could, but I mean, like, if all of these had something in common, we could take it out, right? Okay, that's what I meant by simplifying. All right, that's it. Any questions on that? It's not hard, it's just a little tedious. A little bit of, like, it's long. Okay? Let's do the next one together. And I'm not going to make you do all of these. Go ahead and mark D out. Okay? So let's do B together, then you can try C and E on your own. So, tell me what I need to multiply the top and bottom by. 4 plus I. Alright. So Mackenzie, on the bottom, what do I need to multiply together?
You need to multiply the first term with the first term.
Good, so that's going to give us,
That will give us 16.
good, and then what else do I need to multiply together?
The last term and the last term.
And that's going to make,
Negative I squared.
very good. Okay? Everybody good with that part? What's your question, Antonio? Okay. Alright, help me out, Junior. What's your name, Junior? I can't remember.
Corbin.
Corbin. Alright, Corbin, help me out. What's my first terms multiplied together?
20.
Thank you. Alright, Solomon, what's my outer terms multiplied together?
That's 5I.
Thank you. Help me out. Kayla. You're Michaela, but you go by Kayla? Okay, Michaela. Alright, what are my inside terms?
5I and 16.
Yes, 16I. That's what I was looking for. Good. And, alright, help me out. Alyssa. What are my last terms?
4 I squared.
Perfect. Alright, so on top, my like terms. What's your name that sits in front of Colby? Camden. Okay, tell me what my like terms up here combined.
21I.
Good. Alright, this is 4 times what? Negative 1. So what is 20 plus 4 times negative 1? Anybody? 16. Good. Now on bottom, this is 16 minus a negative 1, which is going to make what? Good. And we can't simplify because nothing goes into 16, 17, and 21 except for 1. So we're done. Any questions? How do we feel about these? Okay. Try C and E on your own. Let me know if you need help. Yes, I can. On top, we combined our like terms in the middle. So 5 plus 16 is going to make that 21I. 16? Here, I replaced it with negative 1. Same thing on bottom, I took the I squared, replaced it with negative 1. Let's do it. I'm going to multiply the whole thing back. be right there, Antonio. Same thing on top. These are complex conjugates. So you only have to multiply together the first terms, which is what?
-3 and -3.
That makes what?
Negative 9, positive 7.
So minus 9. And then these two, the last terms. So what's negative 2 times 2? So negative 4, and then you have to multiply together I times I, which makes what?
Squared.
Now for the top. Now we have to fold because these aren't complex conjugates. Glad you did that. You gotta multiply the top and bottom by the same thing. So now multiplying the first two terms, that's gonna make what?
6.
Mm-hmm.
That's 2. -6.
Outer terms, so what is 2 times 2i? 4i, go ahead.
What sign am I supposed to put in this?
Is it a positive 4 or negative 4?
Positive.
So plus. Inside terms, so I times negative 3.
Would it be -3 like I?
Negative 3i. And then my last terms, so it's I times 2i.
Would it be 2i?
2i what?
Squared.
Good.
Plus 2i squared.
It's positive. Alright, so your I squareds,
Yes.
erase them and replace it with a negative 1. Erase your I squareds. Put a parentheses, put a negative 1. Not the whole number, sorry. You had a 2 here, right?
Yes.
2. Just the I squared one.
So where do I erase this one?
Just the I squared.
Just that one. What's this I squared?
Yeah. And replace it with parentheses, negative 1 plus parentheses. Now just combine all three. You did? Raise your hand if you're still working on one of them. Okay, keep working.
Wait, but this is I squared, right? So like, I don't have to change that, do I?
This one's not I squared.
Okay, this one's what do I combine that with? Because it's the I down here.
Yeah, you're just combining with what's on top. So this is 4i minus 3i. That's going to make what?
Oh, freak. Okay.
You change this sign. You only change what's in the middle. See on this one, you just change the middle sign. Same thing here. So leave the negative 3. Just change the I So y'all tell me out loud, what did we get for C? Over 13? Alright, anybody else get anything different? You didn't get that? Okay, what'd you get? Oh, you did get that? Okay. Yes. Alright. What about E? What'd we get? Very good. Alright, so out of these two, do I need to go over one of these? Both? Okay. Let's go over E, and then if I still need to, I'll go over C, okay? But first I want to talk about one thing. What is the complex conjugate of this? Good. The only sign we change is what? The middle sign. So do not change the -3. Only thing you change for complex conjugate is that middle sign, okay? Alright. Is that what you did, Abigail? Okay. I'll come back to that one. Alright, so on this one, what's the complex conjugate? Anybody? Very good. -1 minus 8i. Everybody good with that part? Okay. So I'm going to go down the line. Kaya, tell me what on the bottom I would have to multiply together. That makes good. And Antonio, I'd have to multiply the last terms, so that's going to give me what? -64 I squared. Alright, Miles, tell me what my first terms would be multiplied together. Up top. Good. Katie, my outer terms. Good. Corbin, my inner terms. Very good. Ransom, my last terms. So these two. Yes, he went ahead and changed that. Is everybody okay with me putting +8? Alright. So when you multiply these together, Antonio, you get -8i squared, right? But I squared is the same thing as what? That's how we got it. Alright, tell me your name. That you sit behind Ransom. What's your name? Megan. Okay. So Megan, tell me what the top would be once I combine my like terms.
9
Good. And my i's?
plus 7i.
Good. And then Kelsey, this I turns into what? So you would have a positive 64 plus 1, which makes 65. Is everybody okay with that one? Alright, so did I tell y'all about this thing, the understanding your learning target thing? I know you know about it. Okay, I'm going to start doing this for certain ones. I'm going to ask if you understand your learning target. So I'm just talking about this stuff we just did. Give me this if you did, not right now. This if you did not, and this if you need more time. So this is good, this is no, this is need more time. And I want you to do it against your chest and nobody else can see it. And I'll be that person looking around to see what everybody else is putting up, okay? Alright, so against your chest, tell me this, yes, this, no, this, more time. Let me see. That's all let me see.
You know what? I'm loud tomorrow.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, let's move on. Alright, this, what we're going to do next, performing operations, is kind of what we did at the very beginning of the lesson. Okay? So, for example, this -18 and -8, we're going to simplify it first before we subtract. Can you what now? Yeah, we're going to go over one first, then I'll let you do one. I love that you're so excited, though. Alright, bring down the negative sign. We're not fooling with that yet. How can we simplify square root of -18? Negative sign, but what else is a perfect square that goes in here? Good. So I'm going to break it up into -1, because I know the square root of that, 9, because I know the square root of that, and 2. So what's the square root of 9? 3. What's the square root of -1? I. What's the square root of 2? We don't really know, so we're going to leave it as what? Square root of 2. Alright, minus, so I'm bringing this minus sign down. Alright. What is a perfect square that goes into 8? Good. Negative 1 times 4 times 2. So what's the square root of 4? What's the square root of negative 1? And we leave it as square root of 2. Now, can I subtract these? Alright, they have to have two things in order for me to subtract them. What's one of them? Same variable, so they have that. They both have an I. What else?
Same exponent.
Same thing underneath the radical, right? Actually, three things. And you have to have the same root. Like this can't be a 3 right here. Okay? So same variable, same thing underneath the square root, and they're both square roots, so we can subtract them. So when I say subtract, we're only subtracting the what are these called? Coefficients. Good. So 3 minus 2? Just I. Good. So I square root of 2 would be our answer. Questions? Could I have subtracted these? Just straight from the beginning. No simplifying, just subtract these. So they have the same thing underneath the radicals? No. That's why we have to simplify first so we can subtract them. Okay. Alright. Next one. What does this mean? Squared, obviously. So can I just do negative 1 squared is 1, negative square root of negative 5 squared is negative 5? No. Why? Kill a unicorn?
I don't know, Miss Crazy said that.
Oh, okay.
Give her a minute,
Maybe I should put puppies all over my board and say you're going to kill a puppy when you do this. Maybe that'll motivate people. Okay, so squared means you're multiplying this times itself, right? So let's write it out like it's supposed to be. Negative 1 plus square root of negative 5 times negative 1 plus square root of negative 5. That's what it's really asking us to do. Multiply this by itself, and these are two binomials, so we know we're going to have to FOIL. Are these complex conjugates of one another? No, because they have the same sign. So we have to actually do first, outer, inner, last. Okay? So, Mackenzie, what are my first terms multiplied together?
1.
Very good. Jalen, my outer terms.
Positive 5. That would be negative 5. I mean,
It's okay.
yeah.
This just makes this a negative out front.
Yeah, I knew that.
So it'd be negative square root of negative 5. Okay? Alright, Amber, my inside terms.
Negative square root of negative 5.
Good. Solomon, my last terms.
No, that's
The square roots cancel out, and you'll just have what?
positive. Yeah, positive 25.
Anytime you multiply something by itself in a radical, so like for example, the square root of 2 times the square root of 2, that's the square root of 4, right? Which is what?
Oh,
2.
okay.
So anytime you multiply something and it's underneath the radical, it just cancels out the radical. Because when you multiply it, it becomes a perfect square underneath, and then you can take the square root and it comes out to be that number. Okay? So now, Abigail, what can I combine first?
Combine the square roots.
Yes. So this is a what in front?
A 1.
Good. Negative 1. So what is negative 1 minus 1?
Is the 1 minus 1?
Yeah, negative 1 minus 1.
Would be negative
Good. Negative 2 square root of negative 5. And what would the other terms be if I combine them? 1 minus 5. Negative 4. Very good. Now let's get rid of this negative radical right here. So, tell me what I can take out of the radical. Which is, what's the square root of negative 1? I. And what would be left over under radical? 5. Very good. It is ugly. I was going to say like Justin, but I don't want to hurt his feelings. I'm just playing. People who had me last year know I like to joke on people. If you're really sensitive, just tell me and I won't joke on you. Okay. All right. Let's look at part C. Then I'm gonna let you try D, E, and F on your own. Okay. So for this one, what could we do first? Okay. What else? You can. It might not make it easier for you. Yeah, let's break down that negative 50 up there. So negative 25 plus, what's the perfect square that goes into 50?
25.
Good. So 25 times 2. Alright, square root of 25 is what? 5. What else can I take out? What stays underneath? 2. Very good. Can I simplify this? Yes. What goes into all of them? 5. So, Antonio, what would this be? If I took a 5 out? Negative 5 plus I, square root of 2 over 3. Very good.
Like, can you tell me how we got 5i square root of 2?
Yes. So we took square root of negative 50, and is that a perfect square? No. But we know what perfect square goes into it. Yes, he's laughing because I covered it up. Yes, 25. So I rewrote negative 50 as 25 times 2, because isn't that the same as 50? Good. And I brought out the negative 1, and the reason I do that so I can bring these on the outside of the radical. So we took the square root of negative 1. That's what, Abigail? Good. And the square root of 25? Good. So that's what we took out, and then we just left 2 underneath. Any other questions? All right. You are working D, E, and F on your own. Once you get done and I check it and make sure it's correct, you can pack up. We'll do your checkpoint tomorrow. We won't have time to do it today. If you need help, you can ask people around you, but please don't just write down their answer. That's not going to help you. So now we take the square root to anything we can. So can you take this square root?
Yes.
Yes, that's what?
1.
No.
0.
Look.
Oh, you have 1? Negative 1?
No, the square root of negative 1 is.
Oh.
Okay, so you take out I. That's the square root of 9.
3.
Okay, can you take that out? That's 3 perfect square. Easily leave it underneath. Okay, now the plus sign. So tell me what to take out of here. These are not perfect squares. So let's pick another one. What's a perfect square that can go with 48?
And then you add the price. That's where
What is a perfect square?
Tell me. I'm sorry. That one's good. That one's good. Try that one again.
Is it more than 10? Is it more than 10 or less than 10?
Let's find it.
Good, my brother. Look.
You're good. I'm safe. Correct that out.
That was a great connection.
Oh yeah, that's why I was straight. My feet ain't teach.
This and this.
Don't give up your mouse. Okay. You can't find curves that goes with the movie.
When you're adding the I, it's just I was I, so you should add things.
Okay.
Which one?
I like to make these. So you're gonna have to break down.
Stressing out this word. I knew you could do all three of the problems. I did. Okay, so what do
You know how we took out the square root from unit 9,
we ready that again? 4.
we have, right, now see that you have the same thing, now we can combine these, so this will make what?
No, 7 I. Is that the answer? That's the whole answer. That one was. She didn't even do it.
It's exactly like,
I did it. Oh, so you gotta write it like. You gotta write it again.
just pull it out.
Wait, for what else?
They're doing the same thing, just different letters.
For like FOIL. What's the first? What's all the terms that?
We have to rewrite it as 2 minus square root of negative 30 times 2 minus square root of negative 30. That's the square root, it's multiplied by 12. So my first term would be
4,
2 outer term.
6, 8, 6, negative 6.
You can't multiply something that doesn't have a radical by the inside of this, okay? So think of this, what's in front right here?
Negative sign.
A negative.
Yeah, negative 2. 1. Hey, oh my goodness.
Look, focus. So what's 2 times 1? Negative 1.
Negative 2.
Good, and now you just bring down this. Okay, so the number in front of here is negative what?
1.
1. What's negative 1 times 2?
2.
Square root of negative 3. Now my last terms is just square root of negative 3 times square root of negative 3. So it's going to have to put a radical.
It's gonna cancel out.
Good, and you'll just have negative 3.
Well, I thought you had to multiply them.
Yeah, we did. So the square root of negative 3 times the square root of negative 3 would make the square root of 9, right? Which is plus or minus 3. In this case, negative 3. So easy way to remember it anytime you multiply something with a radical and a radical, the radicals cancel out and you just bring this down. Okay. Now combine the terms. Alright, y'all pass. Alright, 4 negative 3.
Wait, I was 1.
Good. We're not multiplying, we're just doing 4 minus 3. Alright, this is negative 2, right? Minus 2.
No, 4.
Negative 4.
Right.
4, not close.
My bad.
Negative 4, and then you bring down this third negative 3.
Is that the answer?
It's not. But after this, we just have to fix this negative underneath the radical. Okay? So we break this up into square root of negative 1 times 30. Isn't that the same thing?
Mm-hmm.
I do that to take this out. What's the square root of negative 1?
Not too hard. Were we supposed to win this last year?
A little bit.
Oh, I need to see this.
But we can't keep blaming him.
I'm blaming him.
No, we can't.
Wait for the whole year.
We gotta move on now, okay? Y'all get my remind text.
I did.
Y'all
I
did.
did.
Y'all ignored me.
Wait,
It's not
I
coming
didn't.
to
Wait,
DOT.
we can't reply to it, can we?
Yeah.
I didn't know we can. Because I used to try to reply to it and be like, you can't reply to it.
Yeah.
You can't talk to your teacher. So I don't even try anymore.
Okay. Well, y'all need to come to DOT. Okay?
This was
I'm
my
not
name,
picking on
what
y'all.
it
Y'all just gotta get caught back up. Any day. Just come any day. Y'all are a special case. Okay. What class do y'all have?
I got PE. I can walk.
Okay.
I
Do you have
I have Coach Pike.
Okay.
And that's what his would be all day. Coach Pike. No, like no, Coach Pike and there's a guy here. No, we were doing the problem. We used to be up there writing. But we had to get out. We did.
Y'all get that.
You too.
Y'all both play football?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Somebody got a nose, though.